How you doing, Team Up? And welcome to the first ever episode of Hard News with Murdock, okay? This is the channel straight news commentary show. It's pretty much an extension of Unclassified Perspectives Facebook page. If you go there, I post news stories that I find interesting pretty regular. This is me giving you straight news commentary, no muss, no fuss, a little less in depth of what a regular Unclassified Perspective episode would be. But a lot of people was requesting I give them something on the weekly or daily basis. I'm going to try to deliver. I'm still getting used to this right about now. And it's just the fact of all trial and error. Now, this isn't going to be the regular format of the show. I'm only shooting like this because I'm a bit under the weather. I have a full-time job, and trying to keep my Unclassified Perspectives as a whole is definitely taking its toll on me this week. But it's nothing that a little leave and some caffeine can't fix, okay? So this is my caffeine face. I'm bright-eyed. Let's get into this. Now, I'm sure some of y'all out there was aware that Harriet Tubman was going to be replacing Andrew Jackson on the $20 bill come next year. But of course, that's been derailed under Orange Savage administration, okay? Now, I'm sure some of y'all ran into this news article, but I'm pretty sure a lot of y'all haven't seen this exchange. So I was going to play a piece of this, but I decided I'm going to play y'all the whole thing so y'all get the full context, so y'all can be nice and annoyed as I was when I seen it. Check it out.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman, and thank you, Secretary Mnuchin, for joining the committee again here today. I do believe our diversity is our greatest strength and arguably the greatest contributor to our economy. Mr. Secretary, do you believe that representation matters in American politics and imagery?
I'm sorry, what's the last part? American politics and
imagery. Do you believe that representation matters in American politics and imagery?
Yes.
I'm so glad we agree. A few years ago, Secretary Lew put out a call to the American people soliciting feedback on ways to modernize our nation's currency. In April 2016, following long-time organizing efforts from several grassroots organizations, he announced a currency redesign overhaul that would more accurately reflect the diversity of our society. The American people understood the importance of representation on the banknotes of the world's most powerful economy. Representation that acknowledged our history and all those who have contributed. Mr. Secretary, yes or no, do you believe people other than white men have greatly contributed to this country and its history?
Yes.
Great. After 10 months of soliciting and analyzing responses, Secretary Lew announced that Harriet Tubman would be featured on the front of the new $20 bill. As it stands currently, our currency does not reflect the diversity of individuals that have contributed to our great American history. He followed the announcement by directing the Bureau of Engraving and Printing to accelerate plans for the redesign, so the final design concepts would be unveiled in 2020, the 100-year anniversary of the 19th Amendment, which granted women the right to vote, which we celebrated yesterday. As you know, 2020 is only 1 year away, and since Secretary Lew's departure, we have not heard anything regarding the status of the currency redesign. Will the redesign meet the 2020 deadline, yes or no?
So let me comment that the primary reason we've looked at redesigning the currency is for counterfeiting issues. Based upon this, the $20 bill will now not come out till 2028. The $10 bill and the $50 bill will come out with new features beforehand. So the answer is, it is my responsibility now to focus on what is the issue of counterfeiting and the security features. The ultimate decision on the redesign will most likely be another secretary's down the road.
I'm sorry, I just want to be clear for the record. So yes or no, will you meet what was originally the 2020 redesign deadline? Yes or no?
Again, to be clear, the redesign that we are focused on at we will meet the security feature redesign in 2020. The imagery feature will not be an issue that comes up until most likely 2026.
And I'm just wondering if you could explain that to me, because after an exhaustive community process where people who organized for quite some time, and you said you do share my sentiments and opinion that our currency should be more reflective of the contributions and the diversity of those contributions. So why the delay?
No, I didn't say that the currency should be reflected.
Well, you said imagery.
I said imagery, not referring to currency.
Okay, so do you believe that, do you support Harriet Tubman being on the $20 bill?
I've made no decision as it relates to that, and that decision won't be made in as I said,
but there was a community process. There was a community process.
Again, it's a decision of the Secretary of the Treasury. Right now, my decision is focused on security features.
Well, let me just, say this. The occupant of the White House, Donald Trump, said that the move to put Harriet Tubman on the $20 bill was pure political correctness, and he, in fact, suggested putting her on a $2 bill. So do you agree that nearly a year of collecting responses from across the country can simply be reduced to political correctness?
I think that right now I am focused on the security features of the U.S. currency, which is the reserve currency.
Reclaiming my time. So does that mean you have no intention of executing the redesign as planned by your predecessor?
Well, that is correct. I have not made a decision to execute on a redesign or haven't made a decision. But yes, I have not made a decision.
Can you commit to submitting a currency redesign timeline to this committee?
Again, the currency timeline will be most likely 2026. Which even the most optimistic scenarios is probably beyond my term.
And do you believe that, is it your personal opinion then, since you won't offer it officially, that our currency should reflect the diverse representation of leaders that have contributed to this country, since you agree it's been more than just white men?
Again, I can't separate my personal opinion on these issues from the issue of the Treasury Secretary and my
So what is your position as the Treasury Secretary?
Again, my position is that I am focused on my responsibility to deal with the security features and a decision
Okay, you've addressed that. And what about imagery? What about the representation?
Again, it's not a decision that is likely to come until way past my term, even if I serve the second term for the president. So I am not focused on that at the moment.
I yield.
Now, first of all, I want to thank Ms. Pressley for holding his feet to the fire and definitely speaking for the voice of at least 90% of Black America in that room. I couldn't vote for you. I did support her through campaign donations. She wasn't running in my district. If I could have voted for her, I would have voted for her. But that's exactly the things that I like to see happening in this country. We need the counterbalance. Now, some people out there will be like, hey, why y'all so worried about somebody on a $20 bill? We have more pressing issues going on in the Black community than to be concerned with something like that. But later on, Ayanna Pressley went on to tweet this, and I quote, "People other than white men built this country, and Secretary Mnuchin agrees, yet he refused to update our currency. Harriet Tubman, Marian Anderson, and Eleanor Roosevelt are iconic Americans, and it's past that time that our currency reflects that. Hashtag representation matters." And I 100% agree. Representation absolutely does matter, okay? If they was to put Harriet Tubman on the face of the bill, it's more than just acknowledging African Americans' part in the history and developing this country. It will also reflect the new mindset that the country have moving forward. And to the person who would say, hey, why y'all making such a big deal out of this? It's not like she was the president. She don't deserve to be on the front of the bill anyway. Well, I would say neither was Benjamin Franklin, but I digress. And with that being said, I'm going to leave it right there. Like and subscribe if you like what you see. And as always, I hope you stay up with us. Later.